Hey guys, good morning. So I had tried to upload 2 other videos, and for some reason YouTube would only upload a minute, and so I decided that instead of trying to redo those 2, I would just combine those 2 and today with updates. So much has happened since our first video, and so forgive me if I try to think back to all the things that have happened. I did interview my husband a little bit about what he thought, and we'll go into that in a minute, but I do have one of my sons out here because he's an early riser, and I'm going to have him come over and just kind of see what he perceives or what he knows. Buddy, come here. Can you come here a second? I want to ask you some questions, okay? So I want you to be serious. But not I just want you to answer them seriously. Don't be silly, okay? Oh, sorry. Okay, so just kind of look into the camera. You can look at me. And I just want you to say what's on your heart. You don't have to say what you think mommy wants to hear, okay? So, do you know what's going on in the world right now? Do you understand what's going on? What's going on?
Coronavirus.
Okay, so what is that? What does that mean for us?
We can get sick and die.
Yeah? Yeah? Does that scare you, or are you just I'm okay, right?
Scary.
You're kind of scared? Yeah. Do you feel like you're safe where we're at?
A little bit.
Yeah? What makes you feel safe here?
We got an indoor section where we can chill out.
Oh, so we can go inside? Yeah. Yeah, that makes me feel safe too. Does it feel different before? Do you feel like the coronavirus has made anything feel different, or does everything feel the same? It's just something you can't see?
It's the same.
Yeah, that's good. You smell good. He's got cologne on, guys. Do you hear mommy and daddy talk at all? Does that make you more scared, or just eh? Okay, that's good. What do you think is happening in the world, or do you know what's happening in the world? Do you think things are kind of different, even though it feels the same kind of? Do you feel like things are changing?
Yeah.
What do you think is changing, or what do you feel like is changing? What are you seeing that's changing that's weird for you?
Most of the time we have to stay inside.
Yeah. What about friends and people around us?
Can't mostly hang out with them right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll talk about that in a minute, but what else? Is that it? What don't you have to do right now?
School.
Does that make you happy? Yeah, I bet. Okay. Thank you so much for helping me. I wanted people to hear what you had to say, so rock on, dude. I love you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mom.
So there you kind of heard from a children's point of view, and granted, we are nomadic, and other children can be feeling the same. That little guy right there, he's 9 years old, so it's a 9-year-old perspective. He's gonna be 10 here pretty soon. But from the last video that we made, there were updates every single day. Basically, it went from, kind of serious as far as, so they were going to just be shutting down the U.S. borders, to all of a sudden there was a stay-in-place issued in San Francisco area where my best friend growing up in high school was now in lockdown, 36 weeks pregnant, just a lot of uncertainty there. And it closed a campground down that's a part of our network of campgrounds, because we stay at our campgrounds for free because we paid for this membership. And they were kicking people out who they had 48 hours to leave because of the stay-in-place order that the government had issued for the state of California in that area. And that left a lot of fear and uncertainty for us, because there was a lot of people that lived there annually, and if they weren't letting people come in, if they were kicking people out, what could that mean for our family? We're good until we can't plug in anywhere, because if we can't plug in, we have no air conditioning, which that is a first world problem. We can deal without that. But keeping our food in the fridge, we have a propane and a generator. And we can do that, but we can't stock up on gas. We can't stock up on propane very easily. And if that happened, there's over 900 people in just this campground alone. And I shouldn't say there's more than 900 people. There's 900 and something sites, and we're full. So that would become a problem to get gas, to get propane very quickly, which would leave me and my family pretty much to a spot where that would not be good. Plus, we would need to find a place to dump our waste, and water would be an issue. And it is a really big issue right now because there is no water. Just from the last video till today, the grocery store shelves here in the Orlando area, Kissimmee area, Four Corners area, Claremont area, there is no toilet paper, which is a national crisis. Not that big of a deal, but what is a big deal is there's no water, there's no chicken. I got one of the last things of rice that I've seen. I've got one of the last things of oatmeal that I've seen. There's no pastas. There's no ramen. Ground beef keeps getting restocked. Milk keeps getting restocked, but it is in very short supply. There's no cheeses. Basically, the only thing left on the shelves is hot dogs. Most of the bread is gone. Formula, diapers is gone. There's no hand sanitizer. There's no hand soap. There's no Kleenexes. A lot of the staples are gone. Canned foods, they try to restock. We'll have to get, like, if we need to go get supplies, it could get really creative with our meal plan. And for us, weight is an issue. So we have a freshwater tank, but if we filled it up, it would be 1,000 pounds, and that would definitely put us overweight. If we filled up our gas tank that we have, it would put us overweight. So we can't travel long distances with that. But we also can't hoard or stock up too much on things because there's no space and weight. So in all of that mess in the last couple days, what we decided was that everybody's losing jobs, right? Everybody is fearful of income. We just got our tax return. We want to be very smart about it. But we decided that instead of paying, like, our whole plan was to pay off debts and do that thing and be right and do the right thing, but now it's debts are the last thing on our mind. We are going to get solar on our rig. We actually did start that process. We bought almost everything we need off Amazon or this other site. We hired somebody to help us install solar, and we are getting solar for the sole purpose of being able to run one AC if we absolutely need to, if we're staying here in Florida, because it's already hot. I mean, it's already 80 something degrees this morning. I mean, so we need that. We need to be able to make sure that our fridge stays on and that we have power, just for, if we need to plug in our phone. We have some backup batteries that we can plug in, but really it's really come down to that. So we're doing that. I think we might invest in a roof, a better roof, and some awnings to cover our slides, because we'll need shade, because that'll help keep our home cool, and it'll also protect our slides from having any damage, because if we get stuck somewhere for a long period of time, especially where there's a lot of weather, we want to make sure that we are really safe where we're at. So those are some things that we're doing. That being said, we also are just buying everything that we think that we're going to need to make our stay a little bit more comfortable, because normally, like, when you have this kind of nomadic life, like, you're going to places, you're doing things, you're homeschooling, and we don't know how much longer we're going to have any of that. And we don't know how much longer we're going to have mail, because every day there is a new, California just went on a full state stay-in-place order. Idaho just had a little town do that. Florida is a hotbed of nomadic people, so I don't know when they're going to start closing things down. But another thing that concerned us is a lot of our campgrounds that we had booked that weren't a part of this trail system that we're in, all closed. And all of the state parks in Florida closed. So we would have to boondock, which means solar is so important. But we wanted to be comfortable wherever we got stuck. we really want to be in Kansas at the end of April because we have appointments, and we have rig things that we need to fix, but we realize that that might not just happen, and we want to be by family, but right now we couldn't, even if we wanted to. They're getting so much moisture and precipitation that there's nowhere for us to safely put our rig without, you know, fear of getting stuck. We have had some people that offered up, you know, the sides of their homes, let us come into their homes, so we would just need a place to find to store our rig, but that would cost us money. And it's not that we're not willing to spend the money, but if we don't know if this is really truly going to last into July and August, like President Trump says it might, we have to be very methodical about every little decision that we make. And so just we're navigating between full-on sheer panic to just like, I don't know what's going on, or to like calm as a cucumber, like just all the time, back and forth. So today we are completely revamping our rig. We have to drop as much weight as possible because solar is heavy. So we are going through and getting out anything that is non-essential to our life that we haven't used. We've been on the road about 8 months now. Anything that we don't use, don't plan or think that we're going to use, anything that's not going to be useful and carrying us through this time, because my husband was a prepper, and like this is his time to shine. And so now we get to really see, like, did we really need that, whatever it is, or yes, like this is so essential. So we're cleaning our rig, we're getting our kids more comfortable, we're making our home feel more like home. The full revamping and revitalization of our rig can't be done until we have some rig work done, which is back in Kansas, and so we'll kind of get a better idea of what that looks like when that comes. I can tell you that my younger kids are having a little bit of a hard time not being social, because and I wanted to talk about this, like not being able to talk with friends. Me and Brandon, you know, community is so important when getting through a time like this, and some people are choosing to self-quarantine and cutting themselves off from people and being kind of rude and malicious and throwing other people under the bus, and you would think, like, you know, friends, and they're not being friendly. And then other people are just self-quarantining because they are at high risk. Like, I probably should be self-quarantined because of my cardiovascular issue and because of my really bad asthma, but life has to go on at some point and things have to get done, and so I'm wavering in between all the cautious lines. But I have to show up for my family, and I need to mental health is so important during this time, and mental health could be what makes the world go to in a state of chaos. Martial law could happen because of people losing their mental health. And so I am here trying to do the best I can for my family, and socialization is very important. So even if we're just talking to people but not getting close, like I think that's important. But because we don't know where people stand, when it comes to what they're doing, we have just told the kids, like, smile, wave, but do not approach someone, ask if it's okay, like, and that is such a weird thing. It's such a weird thing that we're going through as a nation. You know, nomadic living, I think I don't know if you guys saw through the differences that we're facing. You know, sticks and bricks, y'all got a home, like you have a place to be that's bigger, so you can kind of get away from family for a minute if you need like a little mental health break. If we get kicked out of the campground, if we have to be indoors, that's a very small space. We rely on the campground's showers because we only have one bathroom. We rely on the campgrounds to be able to be outside in the sunshine and just do other things. And so that is going to be interesting for us, and not knowing, like, if we leave, we have no power at this point unless we get the solar, which we're getting, and we have no water, which is interesting. And so, hey babe, can you come here for a second?
What's up?
So remember how we did that one like little video and and whatnot. Well, we kind of need to do it again because YouTube wouldn't let me load it, and so I'm just redoing it. So, do you just kind of want to share, like, over the last couple days, after we left Sherwood, kind of what's been going on, what your thoughts are? I did kind of talk about our reasons already for, going solar, but if you want to, like, if you have anything that you want to share, I interviewed Dalton a little bit so that he can give his little insight.
Did you talk about the weird dynamic with, like, people that we know around the campground and stuff?
I kind of just did, but I would like your feel on it because my perception versus yours might be different. Actually, normally it always is, so give your thoughts.
It's really weird because in this traveling community, it's been really awesome because we've really connected with a lot of people. People like to get together and just hang out around campfires, picnic tables. But with this virus going around, everybody's kind of taken their own, their own level of how much they get into the whole social distancing thing. But there's no, like, name tag you can wear that says, I'm Brandon and please respect the 6-foot boundary. Or I'm Brandon, I don't care, come and shake my hand. Right? And so I almost feel like every time there's, like, somebody we haven't interacted with yet that we actually either know or just kind of know through the group of people we're in, that I have to be like, so are you comfortable if I come and sit at your picnic table to chat, or do you want me to stay here in the street and we can talk back and forth? There's a little girl next door to us.
Aspen is dying to get to know.
Well, she was dying to get to know her and kept asking, can I go play? And I'm like, babe, I don't know. I don't have time to go talk to their parents right now. And then I was making dinner and I come outside and Aspen and the little girl are playing and the dad is standing there watching. And I'm like, well, I guess that answered the question. He's like, no, it's fine. So,
yeah.
So, it's just that awkwardness of not knowing, wanting to respect other people's choices and, understanding that there is some good to the whole, keeping your distance if you have needs to, but also, it feels like somebody needs to put a flag or a name tag on to let you know how to respect their choices.
Yeah. Yeah. And, this is such a hard thing because as travelers, like, we almost grow closer relationships quicker. We do. Some of the people that we feel the closest to, the Browns, they decided to head for high country and we wanted to follow them so bad, but we were not equipped. We were not equipped to go into that kind of cold. And so we had to stay behind. And they had some people that were, oh shoot, my phone is getting